Your thoughts on the stream of headlines. Is there an organization to this, or is this foreign chaos?
There's a little bit. So, look, they agreed on a ceasefire. That's going to start midnight Saturday. They agreed to pull back weapons. The Ukrainians are going to pull back their weapons from their current front lines. The rebels, the pro-Russian rebels, are going to pull back their heavy machinery from the front lines they had on September the 19th. So they're giving up they're ceding some of the ground that they've taken over the last few weeks. And then it gets muddy, and the muddy part is the political part. So the Ukrainian president has agreed to decentralize power. The Russians want him to federalize the government. And in exchange for doing that, giving special powers to the East, what the Ukrainian president is hoping for, counting on, is he's going to get to control his own borders. He's going to have Ukrainian troops on the Ukrainian-Russian border, as opposed to separatists that are there now.
Ryan, is it fair to say that all that has changed since the September agreement till today is that Vladimir Putin has gotten more of what he wants?
That's a good one. You know, he's got a little bit more about what he wants, but, you know, I wouldn't describe this as an outright victory, because this is a pretty detailed arrangement. There's a real roadmap, if you will, to peace. Specific stuff on the ceasefire, then roadmap. And Angela Merkel and Francois Hollande, they've been going to these negotiations now for months. And if this one fails, I think they're going to be pretty upset, and they're going to take action, i.e. more sanctions against Russia, pretty quickly.
Ryan, the long-term reform here is constitutional, a new constitution for Ukraine. What is the process laid out for actually creating that?
So the parliament's got to get together. They've got to agree to change the Constitution. Here's the issue, and I think this is what the whole deal hinges on. What the Russians want is they want to make sure that Ukraine never becomes part of NATO, and preferably never becomes part of the European Union. So they want that region in the east to be kind of like a buffer state that would have veto power over federal government decisions, alike doing stuff like joining NATO and the EU. It's not clear, after having heard the Ukrainian president after those talks, that he's prepared to give them that much power.
Ryan, a lot of people are saying that Vladimir Putin won't stop until he has a land bridge, read Mariupol, that gets him to Crimea.
Yeah, well, he would be giving that up here. So that's another thing to keep in mind. There would be no land bridge to Crimea. It would simply be the territory that is controlled now. And in fact, there's a little pocket, and the Russian president was talking about this, where the Ukrainians are still holed up, 6,000 to 8,000 of them. They've been surrounded by the pro-Russian separatists. And the Russian president was saying, those guys better give up, because otherwise it's going to get nasty even before we get the ceasefire.
Ryan, an unfair question, and we'll let you go. What does a buffer zone look like? I mean, is there like fence and walls, and is there like a 30-mile no man's land? I mean, what does it look like?
Yeah, you know, they have one like that between Russia and Norway. I've driven through it. It's just a desolate area with nobody in it, and armed men on either sides. Probably no fence, at least in the beginning, although the Ukrainians have been talking for a long time about wanting to build their own kind of Berlin Wall to completely keep militants out. But this would be checkpoints. You drive down a road, you get to this checkpoint, and you're turned away. And if you try to go any further, there's a good chance somebody's going to shoot at you.
Okay, Ryan Chilcote, thank you so much. In the Bloomberg headline, folks, right now, Brendan Greeley, 40 rocket launchers cross from Russia into Ukraine.